stream where I work. And I'm just experimenting with doing bonus episodes, I guess you'd say. Short little content that's following up on things that I saw during the week that I didn't have time to look at. And, one of the things that I was looking at on Friday was this. It was in Pinterest, trying to make sense of Pinterest. You say tomato, I say tomato. Trying to see what was useful or what I could find, how to use it. And I found this, image of a unit which I didn't know anything about, right? And it's Italian Special Operations unit. And it's a target acquisition regiment, right? So that's similar to the stuff that the Special Observer for the 73rd Sphinx British Army, a lot of these other units do. So it's some of it's artillery support or fires support, but some of it's also just special reconnaissance, right? So, after I saw this, I took some time and went in and did some Googling. So I just thought that's that podcast that we saw. 185th RAO Italy. Right. And, so I learned a lot of things since, well, learned and a lot. We'll put those in air quotes. I have read a bunch of things on the internet since Friday about this topic. This used to be part of the 185th Artillery Regiment, and now it's part of the Italian Special Forces Command, but it's retained its the numerical designation, I think, because of the heritage, just to mark or to honor the heritage of the unit. But you see all these things here: air assault, airborne forces, not interesting. Reconnaissance, interesting for me. Special operations, maybe. Special reconnaissance and target acquisition. So those are the key words: reconnaissance, special reconnaissance, and target acquisition that flag what's interesting about this unit. So now this is a whole new. Right there, you see 185th Paratroopers Artillery Regiment. Like, that's where it came from, and it was part of the Paratroopers Brigade previously. And, why is any of this worth noting? It's, a friend of mine asked me, well, is it useful being on military Pinterest? And I have a pretty open-minded or open approach to this. I assume it's all useful with enough effort. Might be a lot of the effort might not be worth it. The juice might not be worth the squeeze. But because look at this, it's hashtag military army. I have found that this world of military Pinterest probably isn't that. It may not be worth the squeeze. Here's some more. This, I think, also was this is that same unit. I can just tell because of that. This is the Italian Vegetato pattern. Come on, do something. Go back. It's not that useful. There's a lot of garbage in here. There's a lot of, garbage may be one word, chatter may be another word. Oh, this is interesting. I didn't notice this. That this image is probably from the same series that this image is from. Maybe. Do you see any? Nah, that other one had radio equipment in it, and this one doesn't. But you can find just that one piece. Since this is interesting. It's an EOD. Since I found this, found, in the sense of like discovered, it's not a discovery, it's there, but new to me, this new to me unit, I realized that an aspect of this project that I haven't been focusing on and that is worth doing, and I'll show you on the desktop in a future stream, is really just going through and making a grid or a chart that's showing all the units that across as many militaries as I can find that have these special reconnaissance or target acquisition missions, because that's I've been focusing on this part that's about using these visual tools and using these non-standard non-standard may not be the right word, but you wouldn't necessarily think to go to YouTube and Pinterest to learn about military operations, especially military operations that are somewhat closed or restricted, if not secret. And that was kind of the initial impetus of the project, was to say, like, there's a lot of stuff out here. You just have to dig through it, and you can find that stuff. And so I've focused on that for a number of years now, just like, chewing through. All right, this is maybe that unit, maybe not. We'll see. But there's other ways in. I'm relying on the algorithms within Pinterest, the algorithms within Instagram to help find things. Right? So if I do 185 RAO, let's see what that comes up as a hashtag. We're going to find some of this. Let's see what we get, right? Esercito, that's army in Italian. I'll save this for later. Did that? It didn't give me an option to go. Oh, it did, and I missed it. This is a company that makes knives that has a like tie-in knife for the unit. I don't know about that knife. It looks kind of wicked. It's a folder. Okay, wow. That's some ink. Okay, so 185 RAO, 185 Regimento Folgore, which is just the whole regiment, right? Like the RAO is this. We didn't get the Italian. It's Regimento Paraciudisti. Regimento Paraciudisti Ricognizione e Acquisizione Obiettivi. Obiettivi must mean target. Objective, target. Yeah, more knives. Yeah, okay, here we go. Maybe. I don't know. Save that to that. Right, so yes, now I can go back into all the other tools and kind of iterate. Tools, I put in air quotes, all the other sources, and try to dig in. And what I'm going to start doing in some later streams is showing you how I try to make sense of all this, right? Because this is what I've been showing you for the last few weeks, is just collection. Just going in, finding stuff, tagging stuff, putting it in folders. Well, that's all well and good, but you have to pull it out and do something with it, right? And that's what we're going to get to in the future. So that's one work stream I'm going to get to a little bit more. And another one is, well, see, this one's interesting. Here we go. This is exactly the kind of thing that I'm into, right? Winter Hide site. That's cool. Italian _ Special Forces. I bet this is a fan site. Yeah. Tributo Forze Speciali Italiane. But maybe some good stuff? Not really. This is a problem with a lot of special forces stuff. It's just like, guys with guns, guys with guns, guys with guns. Not enough guys, like, watching. That's all I care about. People watching. Guys, gals, all people. Just watching. What does that do? How does that work? But that's a good picture. Is that... And that's an interesting... Acquisitorio... Isiori... Obiettivi. Okay, well, so we already saw this one. Yeah, because that was that same fan tribute site. All right. Well, maybe that's the only person who's actually using that hashtag. But that's part of what I'm going to try to do more as we go forward is take all these hashtags out, relate all them to each other. The hashtag in, for the 185th RAO equals what hashtag for Honorable Artillery Company or 4th and 73rd Sphinx or 13th RDP. Like, how does all this knit together so that then systematically you go into every one of these source areas and put in that hashtag, put in that selector for the name. There are many selectors, right? There's the name of the organization, there's the hashtags that describe it, there's phone numbers, there's email addresses, all that stuff, to iteratively go in and say, all right, well, we've learned something new about this unit, right? Like, I just learned something new here. I learned potentially this is a hashtag that people who are interested in this unit would use to describe it. Now I'm in Instagram, I should go back. Let's see if we get anything in man, my Italian please quiz clearly needs acquisitorio man, this is nothing. Acquisitorio. Okay, well, why don't I look for buffalo chicken dip? Well, that shows where the rest of the world is. Also shows where Pinterest is at, right? This, right now it's a lot of ping-ponging around, and it has been for quite some time in this project because it's hard to, because it's a big jumble sale of information, and part of what I'm interested in is saying, all right, well, out of this big jumble sale of information, how do you start to, with, a great poet once said, the entry point is where you are, so you have to enter where you find a place you can enter and then develop the situation from there, right? And we don't always have the luxury when we're doing any kind of research, but especially this kind of open source looking at government systems. You don't have the luxury to know the structure in advance. It's one thing to have a chart, that somebody's made for you with a lot of blank lines and you just fill in the chart. That's a much different, very different problem than saying, well, what is the chart? What is the structure? And then when you're looking at this kind of meta problem of, well, this world of special reconnaissance and target acquisition cuts across many different countries, many different cultures, many different languages. How do you describe, what is the structure then, right? Is it, well, there's a lot of, this company really has the This is another fan site. Photos aren't mine. Yeah, did they get permission? I don't know. Anyway, that's another question. Right? Operator, okay. SF ignorant, that's a funny handle. So that's where we're at. So yeah, I just wanted to just get back on this for a second, because I didn't really note, what starts to happen in a project like this, at least for me. I mean, your mileage may vary, but what starts to happen when you get on something new? How do you note that? Where do you put that, right? I haven't found a an official site, right? Which is interesting. A lot of we've seen other special forces units, special observer units that do have their own Instagram presence, own YouTube presence. And one of the things I think you've possibly noted, if I haven't called it out, is that there's a much deeper level, or the echelon, the level at which a unit has an Instagram presence is much lower than on YouTube or having an official website, right? So you can find, very small elements or echelons that have their own Instagram page, which I find fascinating, because the lower you go, the less control there is, right, from up top, right? So this is where you can start to get some edge and start to see, like, oh, well, this sniper company or whatever, this surveillance target acquisition company has decided to post a YouTube video or an Instagram video about something that I'll bet some general up at headquarters would blow their minds that this stuff was on the internet. But that's where you can start to find something it's just this differential diagnosis, let's say, of what is secret, what is controlled, what should we control. So let's leave it at that. This has been a off-cycle bonus stream of Richard Wheeler Works. This is Richard Wheeler, and even though it's a Sunday, I've been working.